Welcome back to Behind the Business, the series that highlights companies making a big impact right here in Lancaster County. In this episode, our Lancaster County Economic Development Department sat down with Scott Cox, who is the Director of Business Development for Gulf and Ohio Railways, and they are the parent company for L&C Railroad. Scott shares the fantastic history of Gulf and Ohio, its company core values, current initiatives, and what's on the horizon for L&C Railroad right here in our community. It's a great conversation about connection, innovation, and growth, and how railroads continue to play a key role in Lancaster County's economic future. Let's take a look.
Gulf and Ohio, kind of to explain Gulf and Ohio and kind of go back, you'd have to go back to the 1980s during the Staggers Act. And in the Staggers Act that Congress had passed, essentially was that Class 1 railroads or larger railroads could divest their unprofitable lines, and then they could sell those lines off. So that happened in the early 80s, which gave entrepreneurs like our owner, Pete Clausen, who's a former attorney, it gave him the opportunity to start buying and acquiring railroads. Mr. Clausen and his wife, Linda, purchased their first railroad in 1985 called the Mississippi Delta Railroad. So from that point forward, and you fast forward 40 years later to today's date, we have 4 railroads, one in South Carolina, 2 in North Carolina, and 1 in Tennessee as well. So we have L&C, and we have the other 3 roads, and all of it just falls up under Gulf and Ohio.
Right.
The industry knows us as Gulf and Ohio, but the constituents or the customer base here knows us as Lancaster and Chester. So we acquired the L&C back in 2010, and the mission has really been the same, is to grow the railroad, have as many potential customers as we can, develop the property, provide excellent service, and provide the safest transportation to our customer base. They've made advances with technology, green initiatives as well. So a number of sustainable type initiatives that railroads have come up with. To give you an example of one of our initiatives is from a technology standpoint that we added tablets to our train crews to ensure that our train crews report and document the placement and the pulls of all rail cars for these customers, because it really kind of starts the clock for all customers. When a car is placed, then it's at a clock that collects demurrage and collects storage fees. So we try to make sure that our numbers and our metrics match what our customers have. We are, because we're in the railroad industry and because of the background of our company, our culture is safety. All railroads look at safety as the primary responsibility of the railroad. So we look at creating a culture that's a safe culture, and we do that by strong hiring individuals with integrity that can communicate, that look to be developed, look to learn and understand the industry itself, and also carry the same representation of Gulf and Ohio or Lancaster and Chester to our customer base. The people that physically move the trains are the ones who are the backbone of our company. So they're the representation of our company, they're the backbone of our company, they are the ones that speak with our customer base. So yeah, we take it pretty serious about our hiring process, and we also take it serious about our culture of a safe culture and a service excellence culture. Norfolk Southern and CSX are essentially the origin or the destination for all of our traffic. Right, so at Lancaster and Chester, we are the origin or the destination. Very rarely do we both. So either product originates on us and it either goes to Norfolk Southern or CSX, or product destines with us and it comes from CSX or Norfolk Southern. So as you can see from a pricing scheme and also the service that they provide, those 2 players in the industry, Norfolk Southern and CSX, they carry the most weight, and they're essentially the biggest partnership that we have beyond the county and our customer base. And I say that because a lot of it starts and stops with CSX and Norfolk Southern on their pricing and their service. So the best advice I can give for potential prospects that look into Lancaster County is really the ease of doing business with the county itself and naturally with the railroad. We have some benefits in Lancaster that we're dual served, as we mentioned earlier, from Norfolk Southern and CSX, so that creates a competitive advantage for us and Lancaster County. But the best advice I can give beyond the fact of our location, where it's closer to the cities of Charlotte and Columbia, and we're not far from the coast as well, the best advice I can give is just really the ease of doing business. We have wonderful properties in Lancaster County. We have a wonderful railroad that's very flexible to our customer base. And I think that those, when you put those together, the work that the team at Lancaster Economic Development does, county does, and then the work that we do as the railroad, and you match those together with our customer base, and it's just a perfect partnership and a perfect marriage. I can't say that I was necessarily a train buff as growing up or had the idea that I wanted to work with the railroad industry, but there's a fascinating part of the industry itself that it's a small community for the most part. It's a very specific type of skill set that these individuals have. But from riding a train, I think you guys rode on the train recently, so you tell me what it's like. But essentially, it's, you know, you go a lot slower than you think. It seems a lot faster when you're watching trains go by, but you probably recognize when you rode it as well, you're pretty slow. You know, especially here, we operate somewhere between 10 to 25 miles per hour, depending on the track. So you can either get kind of slow, but you still, you know, you get to see the scenery that you didn't see before. So, and then a lot of times you'll see at other locations where we have trains that will essentially pass each other on various viaducts, and it's kind of cool to see that stuff. But yeah, it's exciting. It's a great industry to be a part of. It's a growing industry as well. Most people think that it's an industry because it's 200 years old, that it's kind of stale, but it's actually, it's kind of moving into a new rail renaissance.
Are you a local business owner interested in showcasing your story? Reach out to the Lancaster County Communications and Marketing team for more details. Don't miss the chance to highlight your business and connect with your community.